All right. I am Kevin Yang. I'm the president of the Bruin Film Society. Thank you so much to CEC and Mellitz for helping us on this. Thank you to Bo for being here today.
You're the president of the Film Society. I didn't
Yes,
know
I
that.
am. Yeah. Just to start by asking you about your choice of like subject matter for eighth grade, and for this film in particular, obviously you have ties to the subject matter with like YouTube, anxiety, the idea of performance. But I know you've also said that you're like sick of yourself as a subject. So for you with eighth grade and for future projects, how important is it for you to, one, see yourself in and, relate to the art, and two, distance yourself from yourself, and how do you find that balance there?
Okay. It's like an essay question.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. What's important to distance myself from it? Or what's the importance of not showing myself? Well, I can't really speak to future projects. I mean, I like sort of fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. But yeah, I was tired of myself as a subject, like you said. I feel like I had exhausted myself as a subject, and I wasn't interested in talking about myself through myself or through my head. So yeah, and I mean, that's the beautiful thing about film is it's a collaborative medium, and it's not just you. It's you working with other people. So again, it wasn't like, ooh, I'm going to talk just about myself through the cipher of this kid. It was, no, me and the kid and everyone that worked in the film made something together. So, I don't know. Me collaborating was a way to get out of my own head, probably for my mental health more than it was even for, like, pursuing an artistic thing or whatever. It's good to work with people. It makes you better. It makes the thing better. And I don't know. I had nothing more to say about a 27-year-old male comedian, truly.
Yeah. So, like, going off of that, like, I feel like a fair number of filmmakers have sort of been criticized in a way for writing about something they don't necessarily, like, identify with. Like men writing about the female experience, white people writing about the black experience, things like that. Was that something that was on your mind when you chose to make, like, Kayla your subject?
Not when I was choosing it. I mean, once, because I didn't choose it, it's just something that felt right, and I did. But when I knew that I was going to do it, I was very aware of that, my disconnect to her. But part of it was that my disconnect to her was also a reason for me doing it. I didn't want to talk about my own experience. I didn't want to talk about my past, so it being a girl forced me to not be able to project my past onto her experientially. But truthfully, like, the art that I have connected with most viscerally is, and most personally, is art that I don't align with demographically. I have seen myself most in characters that aren't necessarily, I mean, if I only saw myself in 27-year-old male characters, it would be horrible. I mean, I just wouldn't want to do this. So yeah, but I mean, one of the most formidable young male story of my generation, and probably yours, was written by J.K. Rowling. So yeah, I mean, I was aware of it, but also couldn't be scared of it. At the end of the day, I had to know that I do feel a commonality with this person, and I do feel like we share something. And I wasn't writing a novel; I was making a movie, so it wasn't. All the things I didn't know, I could look to her to.
So that collaborative effort, like,
yeah, of course,
sort of helping that facilitate that understanding of, like.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about what it was like to be a 13-year-old girl. I didn't know anything about what it was like to be a 13-year-old now. I mean, I don't think any adult writing about the only person that knows how to make the real truth of what it means to be a 13-year-old girl in 2018 is a 13-year-old girl in 2018, and no one's letting her direct a movie, unfortunately. So it was like, I can do it, and I can defer to you. And I told all the kids that. You know the truth. You are leading this. I will look after the production and make sure this movie makes sense, but you are the authors of the heart and the meaning of it. So, yeah, that's the answer. Just collaborate.
And the film also deals with mental illness, particularly anxiety, in the main character. And I know that you've dealt with that. You've talked about, like, panic attacks before shows. So I guess that sort of answers, like, why did you choose to include it? And how did you make the decision to sort of portray it without centering the story around it, like, a way that's, like, nameless, but it's there?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't think of it in terms of. I guess it technically is a mental illness, and maybe that is what I have. I don't know. My own anxiety was sort of formless to me. I was coming to grips with it at the time when I was writing the story, so it definitely wasn't someone on the other side of the thing going, "Okay, I've been through this, and now I'm going to show it through somebody else." She's coming to terms with it. Like, I said that word to myself for the first time 6 months before I wrote the script. I was not admitting to myself that I was an anxious person. I was in and out of the hospital when I was in high school thinking I had stomach problems because I had stomach, but I was just nervous the whole time. So that the movie is trying to just portray that feeling of I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what it is. So it being formless and not named and hard to describe was the truth of what I was feeling. So, yeah. Is that an answer at all?
Yeah, these are all answers.
Yeah,
all
technically.
great. Yeah. So the film also deals with social media, and I'm just wondering if you feel like social media has changed the way we think in a more positive or a more negative way.
I think it probably took the spectrum of positive and negative and widened it a bit. I mean, again, like my whole thing going into, not again, because this is the first time I'm saying it, but people that talk with authority about the internet, I hate. I really do hate. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, when the actors that I was working with that are 13 years old, when they become 30 years old and become social scientists, I'll be very curious to read what they have to say about the subject. But like until then, truthfully, I feel like we just need to emotionally gather inventory of what's going on. That was the idea, was to go like, I'm just going to describe what it feels like to be on this thing and not be pedagogical, not teach you about it, because I have nothing to say about it. I have nothing. If I could coherently talk about the internet I would have written an essay, but I didn't. I just had a bunch of unresolved feelings about it. So I wanted to portray those without judgment. You know what I mean? And the hope would be like you that after you watch the movie, you're thinking about that. But it's not a movie about a girl that gets to the end and throws her phone in the ocean and then she's happy. You know what I mean? It's like, ugh, like it's just not the way it is. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I could really tell that was. Yeah, but
should have done it. Would have made the interview.
It would have been good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, the internet has, like, given visibility to people around the world and that had no visibility before, and that's really, really good. And it probably, elected the guy that's going to kill us all. You know what I mean? Like, so, truthfully, like, it does both all the time. It feels sort of like, I don't know. It's like God, you know what I mean? It can be anything,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's... like in terms of...
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah. As a young person.
As a young person.
Do you think it's chill?
I think it's positive in... Wow, this is turned serious.
Trust me, this is my whole life.
Yeah.
It's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have to vibe about that. Don't worry about it. Have you read Throwing Rocks at the Google Bus?
I what?
It's a book by Douglas Rushkoff called Throwing Rocks at the Google Bus, and you'd really like that.
Okay.
Internet, poli-sci-economics together.
Okay, I mean, I don't like economics. That's the only thing.
He doesn't either.
Okay, great. Throw rocks at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, but I do think it's changed the way we think about things. It's obviously given more exposure to people who, like, obviously movements that need exposure.
Yeah, great.
But it's also, we've become tied to a certain type of, it's just like, we derive what we, like, our value or something from it. And that's...
Yeah. It's like a speed setting to me. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it used to take an hour to get to work by horse and buggy, and now we got a car and you can get to work in 30 minutes. Sweet. And, like, there are certain areas that should be optimized like that. Travel, transportation, health. Let's just make food healthy. Let's make energy more efficient. Should we do that to our social lives? Should we apply that same sort of, like, streamlining to our social lives? you can talk to 5 people. Now you can talk to 5,000 people. You can have one conversation over an hour. Now you can have 50 conversations over 2 minutes. Is that good? There's no proof that that's good. And those decisions are being made by 30-year-old men in Silicon Valley that have no social skills. And they're rewiring entire kids' brains, with an app update. It's absolute insanity. Yeah.
And like we're out of college, so a big thing, of course, is this is not like Broadway or anything.
Yeah.
Even though they would have you.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But obviously PC culture is a big thing on college campuses, and I'm just wondering if
not Mac culture.
No.
Yeah, right.
We have jokes in this interview. So yeah, just that. What would you like? I personally think it's a bit of a tool, like anti-PC is sort of used as a tool to say like whatever you want, like without consequence. And I'm just wondering what you think about that and the way it has manifested on college campuses and the conflicts that have come out of it.
That anti-PC-ness is a tool for
like being anti-PC is a way for people to just say whatever they want, insult people without consequence. And
for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's the thing of like, exactly. You can't even write dirty Polish person and shit on someone's car without people. You know what I mean? It's like there's like a certain amount of course. Like someone said, PC-ness was like institutionalized politeness, and I thought that was right. I think that was Stuart Lee or someone who said that. Truthfully, my first thing is that like it's up to college kids to decide what they want to do on their campus and however they want to do things. So I don't know if I even know enough I haven't done comedy on campus in 2 or 3 years to even know the truth. I know that I examined the stuff I wrote 5, 6, 7 years ago with horror. I watched Friends reruns like everybody else, going like, were the 90s, did we really think this way in the 90s? I don't know. Like these, I will take the clunky social overcorrection of college kids over bigotry any day of the week, if that's the answer. Are 19 and 20-year-old kids, when they're reaching for their own values, going to not articulate themselves perfectly or slightly overreach sometimes? Sure. But against the entire weight of history that they're pushing against, I probably sympathize with the former, right?
Yeah, I think it's it's a really generational thing. It's like it's just people change, and I think that that idea is scary to like the society and values change, and like it's like college kids especially, just what they're doing it's almost like understandably a bit scary to the older generations, but there's just the method of like treating each generation seriously and taking all ideas seriously in that way.
Of course. Well, I also think that like lest we forget that there is something incredibly horrible and unfair happening at the center of the country or like at the top of the country that people can't fix. So I think people are trying to fix everything else, and I understand that impulse. I understand the impulse to go, we can't fucking get him. We know who he is. So let's go. Let's try to fix what we can fix. I totally get that. It swung. I mean, him is the biggest swing of a pendulum in one direction. So of course people are pulling pretty hard the other way. I don't know too. Also, it's just like, you guys do your thing. You're the young people now, so go for it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Lastly,
I'm saying I also think college campuses are so insular that some of the people that we're talking about the same people. I know we're talking. Are you just talking about like the touring politician Shapiro types that are going around and getting protest? Is that what this is about? I don't even know what the conversation really revolves around anymore. What is it in terms of? I'm saying I don't go to college. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, what is the PC? Because I'm saying as someone outside of the world, like the PC college conversation isn't. We're not talking about how colleges are so PC all the time on the streets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just like there have been protests against like people like that.
Right.
Just people who've been touring and going to college campuses and talking about things, and it's
But college is like the time to have really passionate opinions.
Right. And then so they're like, okay, so
and then they go to speak at colleges and get overpaid by colleges that are shelling out money in the backs of future generation of debt. And then the kids are really passionate about their ideas. It's like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, and it's like PC is like, and then the excuse is like, you're too PC. Like, let me say whatever I want. Which,
yeah, of course,
free speech is doesn't mean you don't have consequences in that regard.
July 13th in LA and New York.
Just lastly, I just want to know how you define success.
Oh, baby.
This setup, probably.
It's, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. Doing what you want. I have no idea. How do I define success? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's a bad one. I mean, saying I have no answer for. Ask me. Like, success is doing what you love for money.
Great. Let's put that in the dictionary. All right. Thank you, Bo.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes. I will be using my poli-sci Nikon, and I'll throw rocks at whatever.
The Google bus.
The Google bus, yeah.
Build it up for us, buddy.
Yeah. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I just like the idea of throwing rocks.
It's good. It's really good. Well, the future is tech, and the future is small tables.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to throw my phone?
No, I couldn't.
Toss it at him. Yeah, just...
Oh, this would be like a bit?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to see you hit him in the face.
For real?
With the phone.
Wow.
That was a real thing. I got like a little sweaty at that moment.
Yeah. We have intense Q&As.
Good. All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Kevin. Appreciate it. Jeez, you hit hard.